Globewise.
Recycling your waste the clever way.
So our business is an environmental waste management consultancy firm, which aims to aid businesses in Southeast Asia, specifically low economically developed countries, to manage their waste in a way that benefits both the environment and their community as a whole. So we're based in Singapore due to its advanced technology in the environmental sector, and it will transfer both its knowledge, expertise, and machinery to the three countries in particular: Vietnam, China, and Indonesia. So these three countries were chosen in particular due to the statistics of waste pollution. So firstly, Vietnam is one of the top 5 largest polluters of plastic in the world, with 3.1 million metric tons of plastic waste discharged on land in Vietnam annually, according to the World Bank. Secondly, China, in the last decade, has experienced an increase in the amount of litter, and by 2021, it reached 249 million tons of waste that had to be disposed of. Finally, Indonesia has a population of 273.8 million, according to the World Bank, and it makes it the 4th most populated country in the world. And as a result of this, the country has produced 3.2 million tons of unmanaged plastic waste a year. And according to the United Nations Environmental Programme, 1.29 million of this waste ends up in the sea. So our mission is that we strive to provide sustainable solutions and mentoring to countries who experience difficulties in managing the waste. By doing this, we're going to educate. So we're going to help the workforce learn our ways in which we dispose of this waste, and we're going to find alternative ways of work to benefit the environment. So as well as this, an awareness program is embedded in our services, which educates the employees on ways they can choose greener options at home to aid the community and country as a whole. Secondly, we're going to donate. So through our donations of expertise and machinery, we hope this will change the ethics and ways of doing things in the workplace and in the business long term related to waste management and the environment. Lastly, we're going to improve the labour. So our services will help increase the amount of knowledge the labour knows, which inadvertently will help them become more employable in the future to different sectors.
The way in which we execute our consultancy to our clients is broken down into 7 steps, ensuring uniformity to each product, allowing us to keep our quality of service high. Initially, an audit will be conducted, assessing the type of waste produced as well as the quantity. This then will allow us to gain insight into the strengths and weaknesses in terms of waste within the spotlighted manufacturer. As a consultancy, we will then tailor suggested methods and technology to the given manufacturing plants. The next few steps consist of implementing waste reduction strategies with the manufacturer, goaling to create a cohesive outline around looking at ways of process optimization, substitute materials, and recycling. As a consultancy, execution of improvements will take the form of staff training, advisement on technologies, and continuous surveying. Our final stages of service aims to bring the manufacturer to a position of operating at a level of optimum efficiency with a minimal environmental footprint, bringing their facilities to the forefront of sustainable waste management. Singapore acts as an optimal base for an environmental consultancy firm based in Southeast Asia. Singapore offers a multitude of advancements to our prospectus firm. Its strategic location gives Globewise an ideal gateway to the Asia-Pacific region. Additionally, as a country, Singapore is renowned for its offering of a high-quality lifestyle and excellent health and educational facilities, thus making it an appealing expatriate destination for highly skilled workforce and therefore creating ease for our firm to attract and retain a talented workforce. Singapore acts as a hub for research and development, thus placing Globewise in an environment fostering, innovating, and hosting. Singapore acts as a hub for research and development, thus placing Globewise in an environment which fosters innovation and hosting cutting-edge technologies and research. Regarding the location of our clients, we've chose to target manufacturers based in Vietnam, Indonesia, and China. Vietnam's textile and garment industry's national export value topped 36.9 billion in 2020, with a continued growth of the industry forecasted. Textile manufacturers have been pulled up on the release of untreated wastewater dumping in various water bodies, polluting local communities. Vietnam's long-term goals of intending to move up the value chain of garment manufacturing align greatly with Globewise's values and operation opportunities, as Vietnam is in a period of development of the industry, providing a prime time for us to introduce a newer and more sustainable techniques and technology. The Indonesian textile and garment industry accounts for 6.12% of the GDP of Indonesia's manufacturing sector in 2021. Although smaller, Indonesia's garment manufacturers are substituted through governmental schemes to assist the efficiency and growth of the industry. In 2020, the Indonesian government released its first sustainable development plan, committing to reduce carbon and water consumption within the industry. Additionally, applying circular economy principles in encouraging better use of resources within the market. With Indonesia's push to operate more environmentally considerate, furnishes the high demand for firms such as Globewise to operate. China comes to mind when discussing manufacturing. Clothing is one of the main strengths of China, with its main export market of Chinese clothing being the US, the EU, and Southeast Asia. The country has a revenue of $303 billion in 2021 from the apparel market, therefore proving a substantial demand within the market. In 2015, a movement in trends of manufacturing industry was seen to push forward towards operating in a more sustainable practice as the industry continues to mature.
Indonesia will be our main focus, and they have particularly poor waste management. This is because the majority of plastics in Indonesia are disposed in a non-ethical manner, resulting in overflowing of landfills, polluted oceans, and ecological damages. As well as this, 1,000 garment factories dump various toxic chemicals from their products into the Citron River. Furthermore, out of the 57% of waste in Jakarta in Indonesia, 8.2% equated to textile waste. The country is now home to a waste management market, with more than 70% of Indonesia estimated to be generating some kind of textile waste. In 2018, the Zero Waste Indonesia community found that textile waste in Indonesia seas altogether totals 80% of the total waste collected. Indonesia is one of the largest contributors towards textile waste, meaning the country struggles to decompose their waste safely without polluting the air. China, on the other hand, has plans to overcome their waste. For example, China has implemented strict rules and regulations to address waste management issues. For example, in 2015, Chinese textile companies accounted for over 6% of total carbon emissions of all industrial businesses. As well as this, China produced approximately 22 million tons of textile waste and only recycled 1.5 million tons of waste, therefore accounting for around 20% of China's total waste. China hopes to create a system achieving to increase the recycling rate of textile waste from 20% to 30% by 2030, therefore showing that China really wants to take control and improve their waste management in their country. The Chinese government have increased the number of policies, and this is due to the introduction of the textile waste management in 2001. Furthermore, Vietnam also has an issue with waste management, and this is due to the rapid economic growth and urbanization, which has led to the increase generated in Vietnam. The Penguin Neotex textile company discovered that Vietnam was discharging untreated wastewater into the Red River. This is indicating that Vietnam highlights multiple problems when it comes to their waste management. As well as this, recycling and waste separation programs are gradually being implemented into some areas across Vietnam, showing that they're willing to improve their waste management skills, therefore equating to 9,037,500 tons of textile waste a year. The Vietnamese government began to create campaigns and policies to raise awareness about waste management. As well as this, they promoted environmentally friendly practices for others to follow. Finally, Singapore also has multiple implications when it comes to their waste management. Firstly, Singapore generated around 7.4 million tons of waste in 2022, and landfill space is limited. As well as this, Singapore has implemented a waste management system, including waste incineration, as well as multiple recycling programs. Singapore has also implemented measurements to produce waste reduction and recycling. The government in Singapore has set a goal to increase recycling rates to 70% by 2030. Singapore also generated over 189,000 tons of waste which is made of textile manufacturing goods in 2021, with only 4% of it being recycled. And finally, in 2022, a total of 3.2 million tonnes of waste in Singapore was unethically disposed of, therefore highlighting their struggles that they face.
The waste management market is fragmented and highly price competitive. Southeastern countries have become a common destination for the US, Japan, UK, and EU to dump their waste, both legally and illegally, which increases the problems faced by these countries as they themselves have to manage their own waste alongside external countries' waste. Due to this, there is opportunity within the market without the presence of a major market dominator unable to influence the market, and the need for a solution to the volume of the waste needed to be dealt with. Current market players include Veolia, a French waste management company, and Colex Holdings Limited, based in Singapore. The main clients Globewise would be seeking to provide the service for is likely to be large Western firms outsourcing their production in the lower cost environment provided within the ASEAN regions, such as Nike and Adidas. Thus, a price-sensitive approach will be vital, not only in the eyes of the clients as they aim to keep costs low, but also against existing competition in order to gain market share.
Our target market that we're aiming to target is businesses who produce large quantities of waste and struggle to know what to do with it once it's produced and how to manage it. So managing affordability for low economically developed countries is quite important, because normally these low economically developed countries look more for affordability rather than quality services. However, we will strive to incorporate both of these qualities into our practice. Our plan is to connect with the local community by sending out a group of individuals to these three countries, Indonesia, China, and Vietnam, and these individuals will be fluent in the language of the country in order to establish a strong work relationship to our target business. So in this, they will promote our service, pitching a speech that will cover what will be expected of them, how we will help, and our price of the service. And this price may be discriminatory due to the different revenues of the countries. But as well as this, we will undertake traditional marketing techniques such as radio channels, posters on billboards, and adverts on the phone, as there's a rise in mobile phone users in this area. So in this diagram, it shows that 36% of LEDCs have access to internet, creating a channel to our market to market our service and persuade businesses to consider us. And this is increasing as well.
Business idea Globewise will be operating in the Asian trade bloc, which consists of 10 countries in the Southeast Asia. The Asian trade bloc is a free trade area where members will agree to abolish trade barriers such as tariffs and quotas between themselves in order to reduce the restrictions on trade and reduce costs. This is to benefit all countries involved within the trade bloc and increase political stability. Due to there being no restrictions on trade, this means that there is cheaper movement of factors of production, as Globewise will donate and provide machinery to less informed countries in hope of creating a decrease in waste. The Asian trade bloc, being a free trade area, allows for free movement of labour. This means that workers from all countries within the bloc can be employed. This creates more choice and less restriction on recruitment.
Singapore has set ambitious targets for greenhouse gas emissions reduction, requiring the adoption of sustainable practices in waste management. Along with that, they've also implemented sustainable transportation as well. The Singapore government has helped to promote the use of electric vehicles to reduce emissions and encourage sustainable transportation options for waste collection and management as well. The Singapore government has also initiated circular economy. They've done so by closing the waste loop. This basically means that there's an emphasis on waste reduction and recycling, with regulations and incentives in place to promote proper waste management practices as well. They've also done mandatory packaging reporting as well. This basically means that the Singapore government has also introduced requirements for mandatory reporting of packaging waste, encouraging manufacturers to reduce packaging waste and improve recyclability as well. Waste to energy plants, which helps in converting waste into energy, reducing landfill reliance, and generating renewable energy as well. They've also done something as utilization of reclaimed water, which is the NEWATER. The Singapore government encourages the use of reclaimed water for non-potable applications as well, by reducing water stress and promoting resource conservation as well.
Global concern over environmental issues is growing, resulting in changing attitudes of both consumers and businesses. However, awareness in less economically developed countries is significantly lower, such as those within the ASEAN region and China, shown by the map as the EPI scores are lower. Thus, it will be key to raise awareness of the issues being faced, as well as to educate the population in ways they can help in day-to-day life. However, there is growing government action towards improving the ASEAN environmental impact. ASEAN is committed to the implementations of the United Nations 2030 Agenda on Sustainable Development Goals and the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, as well as its Paris Agreement. This will provide a platform for Globewise to build upon and help these countries achieve their environmental aims. Being based in Singapore will be beneficial as Singapore upholds a well-structured management scheme, largely utilizing waste to energy through incineration due to its lack of land availability. The Singapore education is also of a higher standard than surrounding countries, with the National University of Singapore ranking 19th in the 2023 to 2024 World University Rankings. Therefore, the challenge of finding skilled workers is easier in Singapore and will enable us to ensure that we have a well-qualified and efficient local workforce providing a high-quality service.
The firm basically will assess latest waste to energy recycling and digital waste tracking technologies to enhance the services and to get a competitive edge. This is because also we would like to make waste reduction a key aspect of our company, but also a key aspect of how people in the world do waste. We would like to ensure that we're up to date with all technology that can be helpful in doing so as well. There will also be a digital transformation, which we will be evaluating digital tools for data management, analytics, and to remove monitoring to improve efficiency, accuracy, and client engagement and waste management. This also does help in reducing waste overall around the world and also to help educate people around the world as well. The Environmental Public Health Act is a waste management activity and sets out regulations for waste collection, transportation, and disposal. Along with this, there is a Environmental Protection and Management Act that the Singapore government has emphasized as well, which helps establish the legal framework for environmental protection in Singapore, including regulations on waste management, pollution control, and hazardous waste handling. Along with this as well, they have emphasized national environmental agency with the following guidelines and requirements, such as waste management operations covering areas such as waste segregation, storage, and transportation as well.
Singapore is an advanced country and is a high-income economy with a GNI of $54,530 in 2017, and is ranked among the world's most competitive economies from the World Bank. Singapore has a strong currency compared to other countries within the trading bloc. The Singapore dollar has been appreciating over the past 30 days compared to the Chinese yuan. This means that countries receiving donations such as China, Indonesia, and Vietnam within the Asian trading bloc will be able to benefit more, as the Singapore dollar is worth more, allowing the donation to go further in countries where the exchange rate is weak. This is significant as it allows Globewise to make a greater impact on waste mitigation. Foreign direct investment into Asia has drastically increased since 2000. It has over tripled, with 2022 recording $951 billion. The increase has come largely from large Western multinational companies that are attracted to Asia for its low-cost environment, abundance of resource, and its location for exports-related production. The increase in this investment has boosted the local economies along with introducing new technologies and transferring skills within the workplace. Therefore, the countries within Asia and China can utilize this to transform their techniques to become more efficient and improve the facilities available to manage their waste.
To examine the success, we'll also be looking at Porter's value chain, by analyzing the inbound logistics, which is efficient waste collection and transportation logistics to ensure prompt and reliable service. Hence why as well. We would like to look at our operations by segregating treatment and disposal of waste using state-of-the-art technology and sustainable practices. Along with this as well, we would be looking at outbound logistics, which is efficient distribution of recycled materials and byproducts to relevant industries. We will be also looking at marketing and sales on how to promote waste management services and to collaborate with manufacturers to ensure that waste has been reduced overall and that we can help to use renewable materials and renewable materials. Overall, this gives us a very good insight and a clear idea of what we need to do as a firm.
As a consultancy, we hope to further our impact around Asia's manufacturing sector, growing horizontally and looking at moving into other industries of manufacturing, as well as conducting vertical integration, generating a more sustainable impact through the entirety of the corporation's supply chain. Additionally, Globewise aims to create a greater impact within local communities. Catalyzing the principle of circular economy within our techniques will allow a positive multiplying effect to be generated and individuals within and outside our clientele communities to benefit from our service. With the more established partnerships with global MNCs, our resources and impact can be greater, thus continuing to build on our firm's reputation.
As a firm, we strive to provide sustainable solutions and mentoring to countries who experience difficulties in managing waste. We will measure our success quantitatively through the amount of waste saved, through bringing innovative technology and alternative production methods to the Asian manufacturing market. We hope to contribute to the future reduction of textile and garment manufacturers' global footprint.